Hey guys, Kevin Shaw here, Editor-in-Chief of Mopar Connection Magazine. I thought I'd stop in, we'd do a little video and talk about something that I think we can all share and we can all talk about our stories. And that is either getting tickets or getting out of tickets. And I don't have any words of wisdom personally on how to get out of a ticket, but I would like to share a couple stories, both with this car and with other cars that I've had. The first is a little bit of history when it comes to operating here in Tennessee, is that you have an option for a limited use antique automobile plate. And the really neat thing about having that plate is that it's only $79 for life. So as long as you have the car, it's $79 to keep that plate on it. And you never have to renew it. It's just a one-time fee. Unfortunately, there's some caveats when it comes to that plate. Number one is that it's limited use, meaning I think they only want you to be able to operate the car on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Obviously on holidays you can use it if it's going to participate in a parade or something like that. And of course the one kind of get out of jail free card is if you're taking it for maintenance or service. Well, I built my own car, so my excuse of driving the car is, hey, I just did XYZ, I'm making sure that I didn't screw it up. Most officers that I've talked to, they don't really care. I get thumbs up and they blip the horn, blip the siren at me and honk and wave, and I have had some really good luck with some police officers. One time I did get in trouble. I was doing some just jetting and testing with the car, and it was on a Wednesday, I think, and a county sheriff pulled me over, and it was a young officer. She was easily in her mid-20s. She had already called it in and was already writing the ticket. And I said, hey, wait a minute. I've got parts here. I'm doing this. She says, well, you're going to have to fight it in court. I've already called it in. It was kind of a BS thing. And I went to the judge, and the judge just kind of rolled his eyes and was like, listen, man, if you want to fight this in court, you can come back and you can do this, and it's just going to take all of our time. And it was like $110, and it was a BS ticket. My wife was mad at me. What are you going to do? So I paid the ticket and I just kind of rolled over and gave up. But ironically, I want to say about a month after I paid it off, I had the car pretty well dialed, and I had promised the guys up at Holly, up in Bowling Green, that I'd come and visit them. And of course, I had to drive the car, you know what I mean? I mean, you got to drive the car. So I was firing up the car, and believe it or not, it was another Wednesday. My wife had met me on the driveway, and she was howling at me. She goes, you're not driving that car, you're going to get another ticket, I don't want to pay for another ticket. And as she's saying these things, a local police officer, not a county sheriff, but a local municipal, comes down the street. It's another woman, but she's a little bit older, and she fires up the lights, hits the siren a couple times, and she's hanging out the window throwing me the horns. And then she just shoots right past the house. And I'm thinking, you're going to bury me here. This is where I'm going to spend the rest of my life. This is great. So anyhow, we had two very different examples of my interactions with police within the course of a month. I do want to say my very first ticket, my very first speeding ticket, and for you guys who are in Southern California, you'll know where I'm describing, but I was going to go to a party. I think it was towards the end of my junior year. At the time I had a 71 split bumper LT RS Camaro, and it was 350, power everything. It was a dog. The car was a dog. I thought I had something fast at the time because I was a dumb 16-year-old. I jump in the Camaro, I fire it up, I change clothes, throw on some deodorant, still stink like work, but I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go. So I was working in Garden Grove, California, Southern California. I get onto the 22 freeway, right where the 22 and the 405 meet, and I start blasting east on the 22. And as almost the minute that I get up to speed, I'm going about 70, 75 miles an hour. Mind you, at the time, my speedometer cable was bad, but I had a really good idea of how fast I was going. So I'm going about 70, 75. And a Toyota Supra blows past me. Anyway, the Supra shoots past me in the carpool lane. So I get on it, and I'm like, well, I'm going to reel this guy in for fun. And so I get up there, and I'd say we're doing about 80, 85. And he's in the carpool lane. The fast lane, because it's Southern California, has a bunch of campers in it. A bunch of people on their, putzing around, not paying attention, messing with the radio. There's no cell phones at the time. So I'm kind of shooting in between traffic to chase this guy. He sees that this piece of junk Camaro is getting on him. So he stands on it. So I'm like, well, shoot, I'll get on it too. That little 350 opened up and got on it. I had decent exhaust on it, sounded pretty good, and had some good wheel and tire. So we're easily doing 100, 105. And I'm in the fast lane, he's in the carpool lane. And I see a station wagon. And I mean, he's way ahead. But the number 2 lane's open. So I move over to pass on the right. And as I blow past the station wagon, there's a black and white Crown Vic in front of that wagon. And that Supra and me blow past that cop. Oh boy, that dude lit me up so fast. Just boom, fired him up. So I didn't know if he was going after me or the Supra. He went after me. And the Supra backed off and I started pulling over. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm reaching over and I get my registration and I get my insurance and my driver's license and all that jazz. And up on the passenger window is a very young rookie police officer, a female. And I lean all the way over and I'm cranking the window down. And she's got eyes this big around. Do you know how fast you were going? And I kind of read her, and I knew I was sweating it too because I knew I was gonna get rolled, and I was street racing, and my dad was gonna tear me just down the middle. I knew he was gonna kill me, so I just played dumb. I said my speedometer doesn't work. I just was trying to keep up, and she goes, oh my gosh, I think you were doing about 90, 95. Well, I was doing a lot more than that. And I played it up. I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I'm like, I'm going to go to jail. And she goes, you're not going to go to jail. You're not going to go to jail. She goes, have you ever had a ticket before? I said, no. And she goes, well, this is my first ticket I've ever written. So anyhow, she takes all my information. She goes back to the squad car, and she's got her senior officer with her, trainer with her. She comes back about 15 minutes later. She goes, listen, I feel bad, obviously this is your first time getting a ticket. I'm going to write down 75. I think she wrote down 80. She goes, anything over the speed limit, like over 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, you can't go to traffic school and get it off your record. So, hey, listen, I'm going to write down that you're going 80. And I just need you to slow down. You got to slow down. You're just going too fast. And she was very nice. 16-year-old me is very thankful. But the very next day was Sunday, and my dad said, hey, why don't we jump in the Camaro and you drive me to church? I said, okay, because my mom was driving herself. So we're driving to church the next day, and I go, hey, Dad, I got to talk to you about something. And he goes, yeah, what's up? And I said, well, I started telling him the story. And I go to open up the center console, and he goes, you got your first speeding ticket, huh? And I said, yeah. And he goes, how fast were you going? And I had the wherewithal to say, well, how fast was I going, or how fast did they ticket me for? And he says, well, how much did they ticket you for? I said, they wrote me at 80. And he goes, okay, so you can go to traffic school. My dad got a ticket a year. I think every year he got a ticket. It was bad. So I explained the whole thing. He starts laughing. He goes, man, they cut probably 25 to 30 miles an hour off for you. And I said, yeah, it was this young officer's first ticket. And he goes, well, you're a lucky dog. That's great. He goes, but you're paying for it. I ain't paying for it. And if the insurance goes up, you're paying for that too. And I said, no problem, no problem. I understand. And he started howling at me about street racing, and he had to be a good dad. So anyway, that's my first ticket. So after we posted this video, I want to hear some of your best ticket stories. Whether you got a ticket, if you got out of a ticket, I'd love to hear your stories, guys. Let's share them here. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Thanks again for reading Mopar Connection Magazine, guys. We couldn't be where we are without you. We really appreciate everything you guys do, and you're reading, you're sharing, you're liking, you're commenting. It's great. It makes our life so much more enjoyable in doing this for you.